Welcome into the Boston Sports Summit. We got episode number 39 with special guest The Ritt. We're going that way. It's always reverse. I always screw that up every time. But we got The Ritt on from the Pesky Podcast. I am your host, Tim Barnett. This is the Boston Sports Summit presented by the Grid Network. And this is episode 39, the winter meetings fiasco, baby. Because we made a big deal. We'll get to that in a few moments. But so far, it really feels like it's been a fiasco. Ritt, what has been your thoughts as a whole so far?
Man, first off, thanks for having me on again. Loved when, I was on last time. Great vibes. You came over on the Pesky Podcast. It was, we had some great fun. But, man, winter meetings, it didn't even start at the winter meetings. That Juan Soto deal that broke was a little crazy. Everybody knew that he was going to get record-breaking deal. Mm-hmm. When he signed with the Mets, I was a little shocked. Okay. Of all things with the Mets. Cohen, her throw money out there just to throw money out there, and I get it, especially in everybody talks about the AL East and what division we have. That NL East is, something, it's getting there, just like with us with the three-way teams, So I get it what he's did over there, but that when Soto signed there, with everything we were hearing, Big Papi going out there, the Dominican heritage here, like Devers, Pedro. I sat back and I was like, dude, is it us?
Like, come on.
It did the Red Sox wait so long in this, we're just going to drag along until our big prospects come up and are, almost ready on the cusp of coming into the major leagues. Then we're going to start spending money. Did them doing that hurt them? As we're not being serious. We're relying our future, the Boston Red Sox, on prospects that had no MLB experience. Like, that's sitting there, that's crazy. And I'm like, man, did we just play ourselves out of, not only Soto, but any big names wanting to come here?
Yeah. And you know what? The whole thing with Soto is it's so funny because, at the forefront of my mind, I was one of these people that I give the Red Sox 10 to at most 20% of landing Juan Soto. Then all of a sudden, Soto's giving happened. And you had beyond average Mick there, saying that it's a done deal, but they didn't want it announced yet. And all these crazy things. Thanksgiving became more about Juan Soto than watching the 3 football games that were on TV that day. It's refreshing Twitter left and right. And then when I saw that, again, I'll be honest, I got even more hopeful. I always go back to when it comes to the Red Sox, I always go to the Avengers Endgame where Hawkeye becomes Ronin and he's gunning down or, shooting arrows through the Yakuza guys there. Yep. He gets told, we have a chance at finding your family again. And he's like, don't give me hope. That's how I felt. That's how I felt with this whole Juan Soto thing. Don't give me hope. Because I knew I was going to get heartbroken. And the funny thing was, I know a lot of Red Sox fans out there wanted to, I know this is probably the wrong analogy, but kind of pat themselves on the back and be like, it's okay. He went to the Mets. He's out of the AL East. He's in the NL. It's no big deal. He's not a Yankee, which I agree with. He's not a Yankee. Thank God. But you know what? I'm still pissed. I'm still pissed that we didn't get him, especially when, what was it, Saturday? I think it was the day before he signed. He announced the whole tax situation got floated out there like, oh, that if Soto signs for, $710 million in New York, that equates to 660 here in Boston. In which case I was like, okay, what are we doing? What are we doing? And then, of course, obviously he signs 15 by 765, which is just absurd of a number for a guy who is an average at best outfielder, but he can hit the ball like crazy. The only thing is, again, just day after day, time after time, the same story, the different day. Sometimes I feel like a friggin' broken record because he signs for $765 million, and the report comes out that the Red Sox wanted to give him 15, around $700 million. That I go, okay, you're around 700. What is that? 701, 698, 680? Like, what are you thinking? Again, I feel like these guys, have a number, they want to hit it, but they're too stupid to just come out and just throw themselves on the table and be like, sign it or, sign it, because nobody's going to beat us. Nobody. And that's what
exactly.
Steve Cohen does. That's what Steve Cohen does.
And even he even threw a signing bonus in there of how many millions? What was the signing bonus? Like,
what was it?
65?
Yeah, at least.
It was some crazy signing bonus he threw out there. And, to go back to your, taxes, if that was the case, why wouldn't he go to Tampa or the Marlins?
Yeah.
If they offered it, because there's no taxes. And if that was the case, Toronto would never even been in the realm, because their taxes are outrageous.
Canada is so stupid, but it's $75 million signing bonus, by the way. So yeah, no, and I'm with you. Like, the fact that Toronto was even in the conversation right now with everything that's going on up in Canada, which, again, probably you and I could have a long discussion about the ridiculousness of Canada and Trudeau and all that nonsense. But, just to keep it to baseball, the fact that Toronto even consider themselves in the fold with Ohtani last year, Soto this year, I almost want to sit there and go, really? Really? I made a joke on Twitter, which, again, writing a joke on Twitter is always going to get you in trouble because nobody can understand sarcasm.
Yeah.
In the written language. But I was just like, somebody posted about, Toronto and the fans and whatnot. And I went, really? Toronto has fans? Because they're a hockey town, And so it was just a joke. And obviously it got taken the wrong way, being like, well, I got a Toronto fan. I'm like, listen, it was just a joke. Like, relax. But that's my point is Toronto, like, what are you doing? What are you doing getting involved in this? If Tampa, Miami, if, Pittsburgh, I hear Pittsburgh is going to start buying very soon, like going to start being contenders, where I'm like, huh? Like, what are you doing? You're slubs. You're if Oakland went out and started competing for Juan Soto, I would be like, no, get out of my face with that. You're a joke. But yeah, go on.
Like Pittsburgh, for instance. If you look at Pittsburgh's division right now, like the NL Central, now is the time for them to hop on the buy train, because that division right there is, on the downhill. Cubs are selling. Cards are selling. Brewers are buying, selling. They don't know what they want to do. Yeah. And the Reds are trying to be somewhat competitive. So they would make sense to start. The A's, man, that's a slap in the face. A slap in the face. You're out of Oakland. Now you want to spend money? Yeah,
because you could be out in Vegas. And everybody wants to be in Vegas. It's like, who wants to go to the city, really?
Now, if I was the A's and they signed Juan Soto,
yeah,
I could get that, because Okay, new city. Next year, Juan Soto would have broke the record. Playing in that minor league field for half the season. But at least they have a face of the franchise for Vegas. I can get that.
Yeah.
But the Red Sox, $700 million. Okay, but why let that slip?
Why?
Like why did it stop there? You could have made your money back. And it seemed to me in the offseason, is the Red Sox only doing okay? We're gonna talk to one. Oh, didn't get him. Let's go to plan B, then plan C. Like you have multiple, assistant GMs and stuff, getting deals done, talking to people. Like you should be like, boom, sign. Okay, we're gonna try to sign Soto and Fried.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, as soon as Soto's gone, you're still in the negotiations with Fried or Burns. Working around, like go down. Pitching was our number one thing we needed.
Mm-hmm.
Would have been nice to have Soto.
Yeah.
But pitching, oh my goodness, that's what we should have been in on, and we got our friggin' faces slapped again by that New York Yankees.
Yeah, and just to finish up with Soto here, what bugs me again is just the fact that I've come around to the idea where it's like, oh my God, if we spend all this money, it's going to be ridiculous. It's not worth it. Where I just look at it and I go, you know what? I don't care. First of all, it's not my money. And second of all, we as Red Sox fans should know all about spending all the money in the absolute world, with Josh Beckett, Adrian Gonzalez, Kyle Crawford, and Pablo Sandoval.
Oh,
and
that would hurt.
By some strange miracle, oh my God, guess what? We got it off the books. We found a team. Yeah, we gave up a lot in terms of getting return, but we got the money off the books. So when I sit there and I look at kind of what happened with Juan Soto. Now, Juan Soto has a 5-year opt-out. Like, he can opt out after 5 friggin' years. I mean, that's crazy. After signing 15 by 765, arguably one of the richest, if not the richest athlete in sports. But I don't know. It just bothers me that, again, the Red Sox, with all the reports coming around, especially too now with the report that ownership wants to sit down to say what numbers are going to take to sign you. And of course, I doubt they got that meeting that they wanted, which, is fine. But just to sit there and know that you got played like a friggin' fiddle again. You went full throttle last year, for Shohei Ohtani and Yamamoto. Look how that turned out. That was an effing disaster. And now you were determined to spend money. You were sitting there telling us it is going to happen. We're going to get Soto, and with him, we're going to get 2 of the top starting pitchers, whether it's Fried and Burns, Fried and Crochet, Fried and who the hell ever. That was going to happen. And all of a sudden, you let Steve Cohen, who, again, has money to piss, you let him outbid you, and which ended up being actually a race between the Yankees and the Mets, not a race between the Red Sox and the Mets like we all thought it was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Then all of a sudden, you lose out on him to pivot to Max Fried, where you were almost $30 million short on what the Yankees offered. And just to add insult to injury, and this is why a part of me loves this time of year for the last 5 years, because it's just me getting to vent and just scream at the top of my lungs how much I hate the Red Sox ownership. But a part of me hates doing that because I'm like, I just want to love my effing team and go to Fenway Park and be satisfied that I'm paying the highest ticket prices, the highest beer prices. So then when you pivot to Max Fried, the Yankees outspent you by $30 million. Guess what? Report comes out today to add insult to injury that Max Fried would have preferred Boston if the money was equal. Like, what the hell are we doing?
Well, I was reading some things, and this is just theory, but a couple people have said that the Soto, the Fried, is an MLB Players Association like pressure, because they are the biggest like people. Oh, Soto, you might like, and this is just theory, Soto, you might like Boston better, $700 million, but if you got a 765, you got to take that offer, because then it helps the rest of us boys out afterwards. And that's bullshit. Like,
and it's A-Rod all over again.
Exactly. Like just like you said, Fried rather would have played in Boston if the money was right. But who cares? It's $30 million. You probably had a couple opt-outs.
Yeah. Deferred money.
If you wanted to play in Boston, you would have played in Boston. But who's pressuring these people? Got to take the biggest contract. You know, that MLB Players Association, and we're going to find out after this season when they all sitting down, you know, trying to figure things out for next year. You know,
the bargaining agreement's coming up.
Yeah, it's coming up. Like, you know, we're going to sit there and see. Like, the Players Association is going to sit there and keep being greedy, and the owners, you know, well, minus you're going to have two teams. You're going to have the Mets, and then you're going to have the Dodgers. Mm-hmm. And the Dodgers can fund the whole team by themselves on just on deferred money.
Deferred money, yeah.
So and that's a whole nother thing there that they've got to sit there and wrap up soon. That, like, yeah, every team can do it, but every team, you know, can't do it. If you know what I mean.
Oh no, 100%. And that's what pissed me off. Is like, first of all, as a Boston sports fan through and through, the only LA team in terms of the fan base I actually have respect for are the Lakers. You know, the Lakers have been, you know, in and around it since almost the beginning, which, you know, and the fans there, okay, I get you. But I'm sorry. And I know the Dodgers had their runs like from here and there, the 70s, the 80s, you know, Kirk Gibson, fine. But I'm sorry. You've been nothing for a long time, at least in my lifetime, up until recently. You know, and then just the Clippers, the Rams, the Chargers, all the LA teams, I have no respect for. Why? Because LA is such a fake city. It's a fake city. And I feel like that's why I hate LA more than I hate like New York or Philly for that matter, because at least I can respect the fan bases. And I've said this time and time again on this show. But, you know, with the whole Dodgers, and just to talk about this for a hot second, with the Dodgers and their deferred money method, the fact that this is where I was ready to abolish this immediately. When they signed Shohei Ohtani for $780, right? Mm-hmm. Total. They signed him for $780, and he's making 20 of it during the playing years of the contract. The 760 is post-contract, which to me is the biggest crock that I've ever heard of. I was never a guy who wanted salary caps in baseball or wanted, you know, a hard cutoff line in baseball. After seeing that, yeah, that is ridiculous. And which, not for nothing, adds to the reason why I wholeheartedly believe Ohtani was in on the gambling part of it. But that's a whole different thing. But then getting with Fried, and that's an interesting point. The pressure from the Players Association, I haven't heard or even thought of, because with the Players Association, you're right. The union is telling these guys to do this. Where this is where it almost makes me not respect the players, as much. Like, I think Max Fried is a hell of a ball player. He's a hell of a pitcher. He's proven his, stints in Atlanta. But if that is true, if Fried really wanted to play in Boston, would have taken the $30 million less to play in Boston, but then he signs with the Yankees for $30 million more, which in turn kind of, because of the Players Association, I almost sit there and just lose a little bit of respect, because it's like, and I'm not saying this because I'm a Boston Red Sox fan. I'm just saying this because I'm almost like, why wouldn't you want to play where you want to play? Screw the Players Association. Screw everybody else. You're going to make, almost $200 million regardless. Like, just go where you want to go. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, and I forget what player it was. But like he what was it? I think it was, he wouldn't give up his no trade clause because his wife or something.
Was it this year?
Yeah, it was, somebody wouldn't give up a no trade clause because his wife was doing like a medical intern or something like that shit.
What, Jordan Montgomery, right?
No, it was someone else. Like it was something crazy like that, and people didn't respect him for it. But you don't want to sit there and uproot your family.
Yeah.
Like, dude, who cares? Like, it's his decision. Like, but going with the Red Sox though, we gotta get back to the winning destination where people want to come here.
Yeah.
And you can't just go by word of mouth, and you can't go by your legacy. Having Pedro, Manny, Ortiz,
20 years ago at this point.
That was great. Oh man, come winning history. You know what I mean? That's great.
Yeah.
But guess what? They're not playing now. And now you got Tristan Casas, Devers, Duran, Houck, Bayo. Those are the guys you got here now. What are you doing to build around them?
Yeah. And when you bring up Ortiz, Manny, Pedro, again, we just got our first championship 20 years ago and 2 months removed. Like, that's insane. It's like, I remember watching that live, being just, thrilled, and quite honestly, not as thrilled as my grandfather or my father, because they lived through so much heartache that I couldn't even fathom at the time. The biggest heartache I ever had up until that moment was Aaron Boone's home run. That's it. But in terms of the winning ways, yeah, it's, we got to stop relying on the history. And the funny part is, when you look at the recent history, we suck. We are at best a 500 baseball team. I mean, how many times this season did you see on Nesson? Did you see on Twitter? Did you see on the national broadcasts? Oh, the Red Sox record over the last 5 years to this point is 375 and 375. You're sitting there going, where are the Boston Red Sox? The Fenway Sports Group, according to Forbes, is the second highest grossing sports ownership group in the world. Yes, they have X amount of other teams to pay into, but seriously, you're telling me you can't afford to, I don't know, live up to your namesake, Fenway Sports Group, where that is the most important team, on your payroll, in my opinion, which I don't know if it's even my opinion or it's fact, because let's face it, it's the Boston Red Sox. There's no other teams in the world
Yeah,
outside of Boston sports teams. But
and then you go look. Well, we had this on the podcast and we talked about it last year when we were talking about the John Henry and the Fenway group. It's like if you look at around Fenway Park, like all that is being developed by them. Like you're making everything better around it, but for what? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you're trying to make this to be the destination, the heart, you can't have a body without the heart. Fenway Park is the heart around that place. The fans are what pump, the heart.
Yeah.
And, you got to give us something to be there for. And, today's trade was a start, was a step in the right direction.
Exactly.
But, we still got a long way to go.
And it's funny, I was just about to bring that up because as of, maybe 1:30 this afternoon, the Red Sox, as you can see here, traded Kyle Teal, Brandon Montgomery, Chase Mydroth, and I can't even begin to think to pronounce that first name, but the Boston Red Wickelman Gonzalez, all of which massive prospects for Garrett Crochet. The two guys that, I'm really upset, and again, upset or, disappointed, I guess is a better word, because I'm not angry about this trade. I'm pumped that we got Garrett Crochet. He is a guy that I, wanted from the get-go. I wanted at the trade deadline. But to give up Kyle Teal, who, even if he was a 210 hitter for his entire career in majors, for what it sounded like he provided behind the plate was so much more valuable than what he would do in the batter's box. Almost like a Jason Varitek. And again, I'm not saying that Tech was an awful hitter, but I'm, just kind of in that way. Varitek carried himself in such a way that obviously he was the captain, and his knowledge of what he was able to do behind the plate and call these games was, again, just next level. And that's what it sounded like we had with this Kyle Teal kid. And I was very excited to see what could happen, with him in the majors. But to lose, I would have rather given up, Marcelo Meyer, who is number 6 overall, number 7. He's mid top 10.
Well, overall,
yeah, prospect range.
Oh,
because obviously Roman Anthony's the number 1 overall prospect, but
yeah.
Marcelo Meyer was mid top 10s. And you know what? If I would have given up Marcelo Meyer and Wilyer Abreu, if you wanted to take 2 guys, I would throw those 2 guys in there on top of the other 2. And then there you go. Take Garrett Crochet. I am not giving up a promising starting catching or a promising catcher prospect. I'm just not. It's so, you and I talked about this off air. Pure catchers are so rare. So rare. So to have him, I don't know. It was really tough to see. And then Montgomery, the only reason why I'm disappointed giving him up is because we just drafted the damn kid. Unless there was that injury that he had coming out of college was worse than, they believed when drafting him. I don't know. To me, it just is. It's sad that we gave them up, but to get Garrett Crochet in a Red Sox uniform, to get the starting pitcher that we needed, after losing out on Fried and then getting, then not even signing Soto, it's it's a step in the right direction. I'm still pissed about the other 2. But it's almost like, okay, Garrett Crochet, like you mentioned, is a step in the right direction. Great. Now what else are you going to do? You know, with Garrett Crochet, the dude's 26 years old. I like that, buddy. And he's got 2 more years left. I want to get a deal done now. Do you agree with that? Get the deal done now?
Absolutely. Let me go through the prospects real quick.
All right, yeah.
That we went and gave up. Let's see here. Let's start off with Wilkerman Gonzalez.
Mhm.
You know, I enjoyed him for the organization. He was a great prospect, but you know, I've interviewed a lot of minor league players: Hunter Dobbins, David Sandlin, last year's number 50th overall pick, Peyton Tolley. Like, to me, there was others ahead of Gonzalez that have better potential and I'm more excited about than Wilkerman Gonzalez. So, you know, I'm fine with him.
Yeah.
Chase Meredith, to me, solid player, solid utility player, plays multiple positions, but he's going to get lost in our organization and not get the playing time he deserves.
Yep.
So I'm happy for him to go to, unfortunately, it's the White Sox. But I'm happy that he gets to, you know, go there, get some playing time, possibly even get some, you know, major league playing time this season. So I'm happy, you know, for him. Braden Montgomery, I can't be mad about it because we don't know exactly, you know, what we're getting.
Yeah.
You know, well, we don't, so we can't really, you know, we were being intrigued. Yeah. You know, are we going to keep an eye on him? Probably guaranteed, you know, of what could have been. But as long as Crochet does what he's supposed to, and we have to extend him. We have to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But to the bread and butter, like I was talking to somebody that's at winter meetings.
Okay.
And, you know, I was as shocked as he was because there was a name floating around of one of the big four, the Fantastic Four, that was going to be willing to trade. And Kyle Teal was not that name. So he was shocked. I was shocked about it. But like you said, you know, you look at, I'm going to use him because we see him multiple times a year.
Mm-hmm.
Adley Rushman. Like, that is a once in every now and then, 1 out of a million, you know, catching. Now, Kyle Teal moved up the ranks really, really quick, you know. But once he did get to AAA, he had a slower, you know, start because you're facing, you know, former major league players.
Next level.
You know, next level talent.
Yeah.
So, you know, would he have adjusted? You know, probably could have been. But the defense, the leadership that all these players that I've talked to and interviewed with, Kyle Teal was like right there. First one in the meetings, last one out. Always, you know, game plan. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about that. Always did the extras.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's what you want in a leader. Veritek, you know, did it for us for how many years?
Long time.
So, and a lot of people said Kyle Teal is the next person. But just like Breslow said, we got to do things that make us a little uncomfortable. Well, everybody was thinking, okay, we're thinking uncomfortable as in price range on contracts.
Yeah.
Well, he's like, no, we're going to be uncomfortable and get rid of one of our 4
best
young top prospects. Yeah. So,
well, that's why, to me, you know, when the move happened, again, I couldn't help but be like, all right, that's a step in the right direction. And again, with everything that's gone on the last, especially two off seasons, I'm like, what else? Immediately was like, that's good, but what else are you going to do for me? But to get back to the Crochet in that deal, and you said Breslow, we got to do things that make us uncomfortable. It's funny you say that because my second thought was once I saw the package and once I heard, I didn't even have to hear that Montgomery was a part of it. That also took me by surprise. But once I heard that Teal was the first name that dropped in terms of us giving him up, I looked at that and was like, you're kidding. It make us uncomfortable. And that immediately made me go to the fact that, what was this? A panic move? Was this a panic trade to get Red Sox fans to, stop with the pitchforks and the flame sticks outside of Fenway Park? Because trust me, I was right there. When we lost Max Fried last night, I was ready to tweet out something that I never thought I would ever think of in my life, which is I'm ready to quit watching baseball until this ownership sells the team. I will not watch a single baseball game. I will stop talking about baseball on this podcast because I just can't do it. I can't put myself through it. Even if they win a World Series, I still can't put myself through it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Which, again, ultimate drastic move. I get it, but you gaslit us as fans for so long at this point. You sold off arguably the best young guy that you brought up in your system in Mookie Betts for a bag of rocks just to have the opportunity now, 4 years later, to get the best baseball player, in this generation, if not the last several generations, and Ohtani, mm-hmm. Then to say, no, this year we're going to spend money. This year we're going to get after it. This year we want to win 90, 95 games, AL East, and make a deep playoff run. Okay, the best name out there is Juan Soto, 26 years old, looking for a lot of money, but he's a hell of a hitter, and he will rake at Fenway Park. Don't be, damn that he's a lefty. I don't care. But then to, again, lose out on him and not even be close, again, it felt like just apocalyptic from my perspective. So mm-hmm. That's why this Crochet deal, while I'm happy about it, while it keeps me at bay and keeps, me from going total nuclear against the Red Sox, it also gets me to think, well, what was this? You just gave up Kyle Teal. You couldn't give up Marcelo Maya in place of him, or, to take over for Montgomery and Teal, or you couldn't have thrown in Abreu. Just some of these things where I'm sitting there going, this felt like a panic deal to me, a panic move to keep Red Sox fans at bay. What are your thoughts?
Well, Marcelo Maya, to me, out of all the Fantastic Four, he's the one I think's the most expendable.
Yeah.
You got
Trevor Story.
Christian Campbell, Trevor Story, Ceddanne Rafaela proved that he can play major league shortstop. Yep. Who else do we have that's willing? Franklin Arias that's had a breakout season that no one's even talking about. Everybody wanted to talk about Christian Campbell.
Yep.
But one thing I do want to sit there and look at is Marcelo Maya's injury history. And that could have been possibly the biggest thing that deferred the White Sox. Besides, they don't need, middle infield. Their prospects, there's some of their top prospects are middle infielders. So that one there would probably have been the biggest one. And I don't know if it was a flash move, like a panic move. I honestly think, now that this is just me, that they were trying to sign Fried and get this Crochet deal done at the same time. Because why else would you be like you said, 30 million less, and then the next day Crochet? You know what I mean? Were they working on both of them at the same time to try to make a big splash? But if not, then that does look like a panic move.
Well, the reason why I say that too is because not too long, like all morning, it was the Red Sox are in Corbin Burns. The Red Sox are preparing an offer for Corbin Burns. And again, just like Crochet, I would have been like, great. Who else are you gonna get?
Mhm.
Corbin Burns, great, but who else are you gonna go? So we trade for Crochet first, and then all of a sudden the report started to stem saying that, well, because they got Crochet, the Red Sox aren't going to be as in on Corbin Burns anymore. They're backing off on Corbin Burns essentially. In which case I go, well, like, what are you doing? If you wanted me to call this offseason a success, getting Crochet and getting Burns is great. Now you have John Morosi saying that the Red Sox are looking to acquire a guy from the Mariners. And this is where I kind of just sit back and laugh because, okay, let's give up. And again, I am big on trading prospects. I'm a big, it's all about the major league team. It's, make sure you identify the right prospects and trade the rest. But if we're going to trade a guy, if we're going to get a guy from Seattle, that means we're going to have to give up more guys. In which case, who are we going to give up? And is it going to be worth our while? Because instead of, I don't know, giving up the best, why don't we just sign a free agent and trade for a guy? We gave up a lot, in my opinion, with this Crochet deal. So now let's sign a guy. Let's not give up more prospects for more starting pitching. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm just curious. I want to sit there and look this up quick. I want to see what Crochet, his career innings pitched is. Well, 219.
219.
He pitched 146 innings this year. That was it. So, on paper, it looks okay. But you're looking at it, you look at all, like Bayo, Cutter Crawford, Tanner Houck, all pitched the most career over 175 innings this season.
Yep.
Like, so you got Giolito coming off of injury. So who's your workhorse? Who's the guy that can eat those innings? We always had one, What was his name? He won the Cy Young for us. Porcello. Porcello. Yeah. He ate innings all the time. He might not have had the best ERA, but he ate those innings.
He was either Pretty Ricky or Porcel Blow. It was one of the two. There was no in between. And Crochet, just going off of his recent stats, his Crochet's last 12 starts, 0-6, a 5.12 ERA, a 2.77 batting average against, and no start longer than 4 innings pitched. Again, I'm glad we got the guy because he's shown that he can do it. But again, when you look at that, you're just sitting there going, all right, go get Burns. Go get, just somebody worth a damn. And you had your opportunity, but you pissed it away because, God forbid, you open that damn checkbook of yours that is probably raking up cobwebs because you haven't opened up the checkbook in half a decade.
Yeah, and looking at his Crochet, like maybe something because Bailey's, we're going to lean back on the fastball a little bit. We're going to let you throw your, we had Richard Fitz on last week, and he was, I'm throwing the heat all the time. Let's throw the heat. But when they were like, okay, we're going to lean back on the fastball, we're going to throw the change ups, we're going to throw the sweepers, the curveballs, the sliders, and then we're going to, then you can mix up your fastball a little more. He wasn't a big fan of it. The first 2 months of the season, as you've seen last year, that worked. We had one of the top, 3 best, ERA in baseball. Then what happened?
Everyone caught up to it.
Everybody caught on to what we were doing, and we didn't sit there and switch it up.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe he can work with Crochet a little bit and try to help develop him. But who's our innings eater? Like, now to me, there's a couple people in mind. Not all of them are flashy. Everybody wants the Burns.
Mm-hmm.
I like Walker Buehler.
But he's a huge injury guy too.
Yeah. I like Flaherty.
Wait, is he available?
Yeah, I'm 90% sure that Flaherty is a free agent.
Because I know the Dodgers traded for him.
I think it was a rental.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah.
But that's, with somebody like, Jack Flaherty, yeah.
He's a free agent because the Cubs are looking at him, it says.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So, give someone that has some little bit of veteran leadership there, that can eat some innings,
mm-hmm.
and take these guys under their wing.
Yeah, so, where are the rest of Bloom? Where's the rest of Breslow's nerds at?
Yeah.
Like, come on.
And then somebody that a lot of teams it surprised the hell out of me. Even the Colorado Rockies are in on Roki Sasaki. Like the Rockies were the third team to contact his agent. Like the Colorado Rockies, no pitcher goes there to succeed.
No, that is a hitter's ballpark. Not even the ballpark; it's the atmosphere.
Yeah.
Is suitable for hitters.
And then, of course, the Mets are in on him. Senga's really big with him. A lot of people say he's going to stay out on the West Coast. Yep. But, man, that would be a great steal for the Red Sox. Sign him for a minor league contract and, see what you got.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. The Red Sox, well, first of all, it would be everybody would sign the dude to a minor league contract. Is that right? Is that how that works?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
and I think it's international pool money.
Okay.
Like that's all. Like I think we have
6.18
or something like that.
Yeah, that's what I thought I saw. So yeah, but even still, like again, kind of similar to everything else, and with major league ball players today, what makes Sasaki want to come to Boston? Not only is it basically on the opposite side of the world from where he's been playing, but, the last guy that we got was, I would say, Yoshida, I'm pretty sure, but I would say, Daisuke. Daisuke is like the real true.
Koji Urahara.
Did we get him from Japan?
I don't know. But
because that's what I'm wondering. Straight from Japan, everybody laughed in our face when we signed Yoshida here. Right? Yeah, trust me. All the names are putting together right now.
But Daisuke, I'm not gonna lie. I fed into I have a Daisuke jersey still to this day. I fell into it.
The Daisuke changeup, that special changeup, it worked for 1 year. And that's the year we needed. But yeah, no, I look at it going, again, if Colorado is the third team to reach out to this dude, what makes you believe that he is going to want to come to Boston? I'm all with you with Jack Flaherty. I would love that. But that's why I go, where the hell are Breslow's nerds at? Because don't we have one of the most assistant GMs in the league? And it's like, okay, if you're an assistant GM, here's an idea. Go out and do your damn job. Start scouting guys. This is why, the nerds bug the crap out of me. Kind of a side note, I know it's about Alex Bregman, but, when Chris Cotillo of Mass Live puts out a story that says, Red Sox are in a divided camp when it comes to pursuit of Alex Bregman. Core and Kennedy want him. Breslow is hesitant. I see stories like that, And I look at Cora, screw Sam Kennedy, but I look at Cora as a baseball guy. He knows the game. He knows the sport. Breslow's the nerd. He's looking at launch angle. He's looking at all these expected crap stats that mean zero. And, and that's kind of why I get, my backup when I read those stories, because it just drives me bananas. With Jack Flaherty, what? Do they not like his spin rate? Do they not like his expected Ks per 9 innings? Like all these hypothetical stats. They can go piss off for all I care. Is the guy good? Can he get the job done? And if he can, go sign his ass. It's not that hard.
Not only that, like I look at stuff as, okay, what's his career at Fenway? Because that's where you're playing half the games at.
Yep.
Me personally, we talked about, who we wanted to sign on our podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Bregman was my guy. Like, I didn't even put forth Juan Soto. I was going realistic.
Yeah.
I wanted Bregman. Bregman said he'd move to second base.
He did?
Okay.
That was a big no-no.
No, from what I understand, that Bregman was willing to move to second base.
Okay.
Heck, Arenado said he's willing to go to first.
Wow. Yeah, but Arenado's like in his ultra late 30s. He's done.
Yeah, and he just went and gave up his no trade clause.
Mm-hmm.
I think the teams were the Angels. Why would you want to go there? The Dodgers, the Padres, and of course, Red Sox, Yankees, Mets.
Pick a coast, pal.
Exactly. So, but no, the pitchers that are still available, starting wise, Sean Manaea. There's another lefty, Jack Flaherty. Nick Pivetta.
Oh God, and that's the other thing too. Before the Crochet deal dropped, like earlier this morning, it was, the Red Sox might bring Nick Pivetta back, and it's like, you're out of your damn mind if you're gonna bring Nick Pivetta back. Like that is, if again, kind of like I said, that nuclear option, that Armageddon option that was running through my mind after Max Fried got signed to the Yankees last night. It was bringing Nick Pivetta back would have been the nail in the coffin for me, because it's just it's like, prove to me you have no idea how to run a front office in Major League Baseball without, or by proving to me you have no idea. You know what I'm saying?
Now I'm looking at it as, okay, if we're going to bring in a pitcher.
Yeah.
Okay. And we're going to sign a pitcher. We're going to trade for a pitcher. To me, right now, our rotation is Crochet, Bayo, Houck, Cutter Crawford, Giolito. The person we signed has got to be better than one of those five. Like, you've got to be better than one of those five to take the spot.
And not for nothing, I would argue that Houck is our, second best guy on that rotation.
Oh yeah, I just went, randomly, and I totally agree.
No. I'm not saying you put them in order. I was just saying that, okay, I would argue Crochet and Houck might be, 1A, 1B.
Yeah,
because
one,
of, like
1A, 1B.
Yeah, the innings, pitched and all that stuff. Like that would be 1A, 1B to me. And Bayo, I want desperately to
second half Bayo last year, dominant.
Yeah,
like let's just put him on the IL and let him start pitching in June. Like.
No, what we need to do is we need to figure out which games are day games, which games are night games. Whenever there's a day game, you start him. Whenever there's a night game, you sit his ass down, because he sure as hell can't. Oh wait, oh no, vice versa. Sorry, night games he can pitch, day games he sucks.
Yeah,
it's like, even if he's the supposed to be the guy on the doubleheader, the afternoon game of the doubleheader. I'm sorry. Sit his ass down. Start him in the night game.
Yeah. What's a couple more hours of arm rest?
Right? For some reason, it always seems like he wakes up on the throwing arm every single day game and is like just awful.
Yeah. But no, okay, I'm just want to throw this out there. As of right now with our rotation, who do you picking for opening day starter?
It's got to be Crochet.
See, I got a soft spot
For Tanner Houck. No, listen, I get you. Like, don't get me wrong. I think with the acquisition and kind of what you gave up to get Crochet, he has to be the opening day starter. Has to be. Now, if we gave up lesser, guys, for lack of a better word, and I don't mean that in terms of like they suck or anything like that, but let's, for all intents and purposes, say
lower prospect.
Thank you. Let's just say, for all intents and purposes, it was just Chase Mydroth and Wilkelman Gonzalez, right? Let's just say it was those two for Garrett Crochet. Then yes, I think there is a legit argument to be had where, as it stands right now, Tanner Houck, or Garrett Crochet for opening day. But the fact that you gave up what you gave up, and Breslow himself called it uncomfortable, that's where I go, no, you gave up a haul to get one guy, in which case he has to be the guy. He has to be the guy. And speaking of opening day, the Red Sox, as we said, cannot be done. We just discussed Bregman a little bit. They want a frontline starter. Pete Abraham, talks about how the Red Sox aren't done. Talked about a rotation starter, not a depth guy like we've been going around. Jack Flaherty, Walker Buehler, both guys I'd be happy with. Just obviously for the right price if we trade for them.
But Buehler has made comments though. He wants to be known as the ace, the number one in the rotation, and if he comes here, he's gonna have to earn it.
I agree. He absolutely. Now Walker Buehler would be traded, right? It wouldn't be.
No, he's actually.
He's okay.
Yeah, he is no qualifying offer. He is number 16 overall in pitching.
And Flaherty is.
Now these are included with the people that signed already.
Okay, yeah.
Flaherty is number 7. Last year he had a 3.17 ERA. He pitched 162 innings, but he has very little IL stint. Like he's been healthy.
Yeah.
His last year his salary was only $14 million, and he's 29. You can give him a nice little bridge contract, 3 years, 75, kind of like Evaldi got.
Exactly, and I would like that. And hell, not for nothing, I will, if God forbid it just falls through the cracks and we're at the bottom of the barrel because we refuse to sign any other starting pitcher, then I would love to bring Evaldi back. But
Evaldi went to Texas. 3 for 74.
Did that just happen?
Yesterday.
Oh, damn. I didn't hear about that. I thought he was still on the market. But I mean, he's a Texas guy anyway, so that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
But the Red Sox still need right-handed batting help, relief help, because that's the one thing we didn't discuss is the Aroldis Chapman deal. I hate it. I was not a fan when they were interested, and I hate it even more that it got done.
Off the field, let's start there. Because that's what everybody, including myself, has the problem with. And my opinion might not be, the best one, but if you have Trevor Bauer blackballed for what he's done,
yeah,
how many more chances does Chapman got, for doing what he did?
Well, Bauer was the guy that was alleged, and the girl came out and said she didn't do that.
But he got blackballed for that. Look at Ray Rice.
Oh, yeah, exactly. My, me and Pete Collins of the Foxborough Fellas podcast, we talked about this because that's when the Chapman deal dropped, and we were talking about how, again, just it's amazing to me that these professional athletes, they get blackballed for, smoking pot, right? If they get caught smoking pot and are chronic, then it's the end of the world. They'll never play that sport ever again. But these guys can hit, abuse women all they want. They can get video of it, and it get blasted all over social media like Ray Rice did. And yet Ray Rice, Pete told me last week that Ray Rice is in the Ravens Ring of Honor, which, first of all, outside of what he did off the field, he only had one, maybe two good seasons on the field. Not enough to earn him Ring of Honor status as a Raven. But then you bring in the off the field stuff, and you're like, hello, he was done after that. After that came out, he was done. And then good, yeah, Trevor Bauer. When I was reading through kind of that entire story after it finally came out, years after it came out, it kind of broke my heart, because I'm like, this girl accused him of something so heinous that we all can sit here and agree that is the worst thing in the world. We understand how bad that is. But for her to accuse him of it, just for it to finally come to light that she lied, that it was consensual the entire time, and that she only did it to extort him for some of his millions. I'm sorry. How the hell is she not in jail for that? I agree with you. If Chapman is still playing, but Bauer's blackballed, the two don't mix.
No, it should be all fair across the board, overall. And okay, people want to say about second chances. That's fine. But dude, he didn't even, I don't know without actually looking up how much or if any suspension he had, for that incident.
Well, yeah, don't forget when we were when he got traded to the Yankees. I mentioned this last week.
The first or the second time?
From Cincinnati. He got traded from Cincinnati. So maybe the second time.
Because he got traded to the Cubs.
Yeah, no, this wasn't. No, he went from Cincinnati to New York, the Yankees.
Okay.
And what happened was the Red Sox, I just read the story about it. The Red Sox were interested in Chapman at that time. And of course, like any good organization does, they did their background check and saw what had happened and saw the domestic abuse and all of that. In which case, they called up Cincinnati and said, hey, did you know about this? And
who was the GM for the Red Sox at the time?
I want to say that was probably around Dombrowski's era. I think it was Dombrowski's era. Because so then we made sure the Reds knew, because it sounded like, reading the story, it sounded like Cincinnati had no friggin' clue. And then not too long after, he goes to become a Yankee. It was so funny, and funny in a, kind of a sick way, but you're sitting there going, how we found out, we let the team know, and then he still is playing for the Yankees. And you're right. I don't even know if Chapman has spent any time on suspension for what he did. And I could be wrong. He could have spent time, on a 60 game suspension, 100 game suspension. I don't know, off the top of my head at least. But to read that, to see that, and then for us to circle back, let's say 8 years later, I'm not exactly sure, for us to circle back and be like, okay, we're going to sign you now to a 1 year, $10 million deal. I'm sorry, but when I think of Aroldis Chapman, I think of a guy who throws 102 miles an hour and blows saves left and right. Like, he is not the guy who can throw 102 and be lights out and have a sub 1.2 ERA. Now I think he's got a 3 ERA.
30. He was suspended 30 regular season games.
30 of 162. He was suspended 30. What a joke. What a joke sports are when it comes to stuff like that.
But talking about like the free agents, relievers, I would love Tanner Scott. I think every Major League Baseball team would. You know, I'm looking at right now personally, who can we have closed? A lot of people are saying Justin Slayton could be our closer. Some people are said depending Whitlock.
Yep.
You know, could be and then you have Liam Hendricks. Once I see Hendricks more as a setup guy until he, you know, coming back off his injury and everything. I also like Kirby Yates. I was always a big Kirby Yates guy.
Really?
You know, for San Diego.
Yeah.
His little bit, I think he played up in Toronto. So I was always a big fan of him.
Yeah.
But off-season moves, question. So who, you said right-handed bat. We all know they also need a backup catcher now. Who would you be happy with for the right-handed bat and for the backup catcher?
Oh, God. You know, that's a tough one. Because, you know, obviously I feel like just based on name alone, just give me Teoscar Hernandez. I'm glad that Tyler O'Neill is gone. He couldn't play defense worth a damn. And you know, I wasn't keen on having him back. I mean, you know, the big biceps and, you know, jacking a ball to the friggin' Mass Pike. You know,
we sit there and called him and Jaron Duran the Super Smash Brothers.
Yeah, that's right. The both of them. I'm sorry. They both looked like they were on steroids. I mean, come on. But as for a backup catcher, man, I can't even. You know, I'd love to sit here and just throw names back and forth, but sometimes I just sit there and I go like, I can't even tell you anymore. You know, but yeah, it's like, if you want me to be satisfied, give me Bregman or Hernandez or both if you can. Which again, they have the money in the world, like they can. But yeah, I would love to just to have at least those guys, and then for a backup catcher, I pray to God that we have somebody in our farm system that can do it. And just, you know what, kind of like I said with the Bruins, I would have been happy dealing Swayman because I wouldn't have wanted to sign him to that kind of contract, and not to cross sports, but I was like, you know what? Have Brandon Boosie, the Providence goalie, have him be the backup goalie to either Swayman, to Allmark, or now Corpusalo. Like that's who I wanted as the backup. So, you know, kind of the same thing. Like, I just hope that there is a catcher in the minor league system that is young enough, that's good enough, that has that, you know, kind of leadership quality that, hell, we just don't know about yet. And he's going to come up, he's going to make a name for himself, and he's going to be, you know, the guy. But
minor league, Nathan Hickey. That's the guy to look out for in spring training.
Yeah.
Major league wise, I love McCann. You know,
that's the name I keep seeing, you know, thrown around. So
I want to be opposed. A lot of Red Sox Nation, you know, is against it. I won't be opposed to Christian Vasquez coming back in a backup role.
Why wouldn't Red Sox fans want that?
A lot of Red Sox fans that I used to sit there, either A, they just wanted something to complain about, or B, you know, they're like, well, his offensive production. We're looking for a defensive-minded catcher right now. That's what 9 times out of 10 a backup is, a defensive-minded catcher. You know, Wong stepped up his offense last year, and you and I went over the stats from 2024 to 2023. Big jump there.
Yeah.
So, we need a defensive-minded catcher, or like you said, a prospect. And, Nathan Hickey is a name that some people know, some people don't. But he's, I think he's ready to get a shot sometime.
Yeah. No. And listen, I would love Christian Vasquez to be back. I wasn't the biggest fan of trading him when we did, but and that was he got traded with Bloom, right?
Yeah. Bloom traded him. I love the haul we got.
Yeah,
Emmanuel Valdez and Wilyer Abreu. And at the time, Valdez was the one that everybody wanted in that trade. Abreu was the throw-in.
Exactly. So yeah, I mean, listen, like I agree with you. Like I like it. The best thing was it worked out. Like I can't complain about that. Like it worked out, unlike certain trades around this town. But it worked out. I think I would love to have Vasquez back in a defensive role, so backup role. And the funny thing is too, like I don't know what it is about the catcher position, but name me the last best like true offensive catcher that played a majority of the year. The first guy that I think of is Mike Piazza. And I know that's really dating myself, but like,
Pudge.
Yeah. Pudge Rodriguez. But they played in the same era.
Yeah.
Like the most recent guy.
Real Muto, had some great years.
Yeah, he did, but it's not like it was sustainable. Like
Salvador Perez from the Royals.
Oh, yeah. He turned it on. No, I'm all right. Salvador Perez, but it's not like
Buster Posey.
Yeah, well, yeah, Buster, but Buster, kind of like Buster was that all around guy. He had the defense, he had the offense, and that Giants team was just unreal.
Contreras.
Who?
Contreras, Cubs catcher for many years.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, I mean, there are some guys, but
that gets to our point.
It's not like the position is offensive.
Yes.
I think that's kind of where I'm going is
that
it's not you're not looking at a catcher and expecting him to go, bat for, 298 with 35 homers, 110 RBIs. Like you don't expect that.
Yeah. There's very little catchers. Adley Rutschman is one of the few to where they're not catching, they're DHing because they need that bat in the lineup. There's a reason why you carry two catchers, and last year towards the end when we had, I would have loved to have Jansen back.
Jansen?
Danny.
Oh, Danny Jansen. Oh,
yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. I would have loved to have him back. He was a little fire, that countered Wong where Wong could go play first. They had him at DH because why? They wanted his bat to stay in the lineup.
Yeah. Exactly. So I don't know. Who do you want as that right-handed bat? That big right-handed bat.
Right now they're fighting over him. I like Bregman.
You think it's going to happen? Honestly,
honestly no. Honestly, the way things are going, Red Sox management's going to mess up this fan base's minds and just so much. They will end up doing something stupid, trade Tristan Casas, but then go sign Pete Alonso for big money.
Give me that, baby. Give me the Florida Gator, Pete Alonso. Let's go.
But that's the type of stuff that they would do just to mess with you. Okay, we're starting to go up the roller coaster with Crochet.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna trade Casas. Wait, what? And then all of a sudden we're gonna sign Pete Alonso. Oh crap! You know what I mean? That's what they would do to us just to do it to us.
That's what they've been doing. They've been gaslighting us for the last 5 years. That's why it's so hard. It's so hard to be a Red Sox fan right now. Is because we went from being the top of the mountain. The Kings, who, again, were right there with the Yankees, the Mets, the evil, spending against the evil empire, not necessarily matching money for money, but they were like, players wanted to come here.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's like
they're lining up.
We're begging guys, and they still don't want to come, and we're underselling them too. So it's just like it's a crazy world we're living in right now as Red Sox Nation. It really is.
John Henry, Padres are listening on their star players per John Heyman. Jared Carrabis just tweeted out, "Give me Fernando." The Padres are listening.
Really?
Are listening to their star players. Carrabis is like, "Give me Fernando Tatis."
Forgives everything. He forgives everything.
But the three players that I heard they were listening to offers were Tatis wasn't one of them. It was Xander Bogaerts, which nobody wants that contract. Nobody, not now.
No.
It was Dylan Cease.
I heard that.
And I can't remember the third guy. He was one of the. Oh man, I can't remember the third guy. That's crazy.
I just saw the whole Dylan Cease thing. Red Sox are interested.
Red Sox just announced that they acquired catcher Carlos Navarez from the Yankees, a backup catcher.
We just traded for a guy from the Yankees.
Well, hey, the Yankees haven't done us wrong. They took Verdugo off our hands and gave us Richard Fitz and Greg Weissert. So they haven't done us wrong in the past, last season. But it just looks like it could be some minor league catching depth. Yeah,
well, you're gonna love this. So again, Red Sox, like you just said, acquired catcher Carlos Narvaez, whatever, from the Yankees in exchange for minor league right-handed pitcher Elmer Rodriguez Cruz and international bonus space, pool space. To make room for the 40-man roster, Boston designated infielder-outfielder Emmanuel Valdez for assignment. The guy we just talked about as part of the Vasquez trade, he just got DFA'd.
Wow, okay. Well, there is no way that he's going to make it through waiver claims. None.
Yeah, like you're talking about. I mean, that move to me is just kind of like, what are we doing?
Yeah, like it baffles me. Like, you don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're doing.
No, because this is the problem. When you don't have baseball people, at the end of the day, this is, if you want to know like the tagline for this show, it's basically, yes, we're a Boston sports show. Yes, we cover all Boston sports. But then the subtext, then the underneath part of that is nerds ruin sports. Like, when you talk about, like, I guarantee you, when you have like real baseball people, real football, hockey, basketball people running these shows, running these teams, they get it. Whereas with the nerds, they sit there on their computers, they map out everything, and that's how they determine everything. It's like, no, the game is played on the field, not behind this freaking laptop. So
and just to sit there and cross sports once again.
Yeah.
On Boston Sports Entertainment Network, we have a podcast for the Bruins, Chirping on Causeway. Yep. And they sit there and they talk, or they was talking a lot before Montgomery got fired, of you're putting out a different lineup every game. You're changing, you're mixing your lines up. Like, how is anybody supposed to play, like, learn to play together and get comfortable if every game, the stats are saying this. Oh, we got to do this. We got to do this. No, you sit there and you let them get comfortable, like post Monty.
Yep.
And we won 4 in a row. We're not going to count last night, but we won 4 in a row. But hey, we won the most fights last night. You know.
Yeah, because it's all about being the big bad Bruins, baby.
but that's how you do it. You let people get comfortable and play together.
Yeah, exactly. I was laughing because just the other day they finally put Pasta and Marchand together with Lindholm. It's like, why hasn't that been a day one line? I don't care that you need to spread out the offense. That should have been a day one line. Recreate the quote unquote perfection line, and I know Lindholm is no Bergeron, but I'm just saying. So I don't know.
I know. And then what happened? I made a short out of it.
Yeah.
Pasta served to our captain,
Yep. It oh my God, it worked. Really? So, all right, man. Well, The Ritt, thank you so much for coming on tonight's show to discuss the winter meetings and just the topsy-turvy, ups and down, gaslighting world that it is being a Red Sox fan. So, appreciate you. Where can everybody find you at?
Wow. Okay. You can find us on YouTube at BSEN617, where not only you can find the Pesky Podcast, but all of our Boston sports, Chirping on Causeway, Dynasty Proud covering the Celtics. We've got Patriots Friday Night Lights, Pats Nation Nightly, of course, covering them. We also head on over to our store, BSEN617.square.site. Starting tomorrow, we're doing the 12 Days of Christmas, 30% off all of our merchandise. So head on over there, get those there.
Love it.
Our next two interviews we have lined up for the Pesky Podcast is Kevin Pillar, the former Red Sox player, and also, oh man, I can't remember the other guy.
Come on.
Hold on.
You gotta pull it out. Gotta get the little phone. Go to the.
I gotta look it up. Bam. Cade Feeney, another pitching prospect, and that's what sits there and stinks, because that's where we get a lot of our interviews from. We get we make friends with them. We build relationships with these minor league prospects, and then all of a sudden it hurts when they get traded. But
fun.
You build relationships, and that's what we love to do over at the Pesky Podcast and BSEN.
That's awesome. Well, once again, man, I really appreciate you having you on tonight. It was a blast being able to talk some Red Sox, just, kind of talk about how much gaslighting we've been through and, how much more of it's going to continue, or are they actually going to get deals done. So really appreciate you having you on. And as for the Boston Sports Summit, I am your host, Tim Barnett, where we are presented by the Grid Network. I want to shout out to them. And don't forget, please like, share, subscribe, throw down some comments. Always try to get back to you. You can follow me on all the socials, as you see underneath. Boston Sports Summit on Instagram, BOS Sports Summit on X. And we're on YouTube, as well as we're always this way. It's always on we're always on the Grid Network. Thank you, Ritt. We're always on the Grid Network every Wednesday, 7 p.m. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, staying this long, and hope you all have a great rest of your night, and God bless. Thank you.